Hi Glenn.
Hello.
Hello. Black Country Communion. What memories do you have of the Black Country? I think you grew up there as a child.
Well, it's an area of Britain which is 1.1 million people live in the British West Midlands. It is, I like to think of it as, in rock terms, the birthplace of heavy rock, with Joe Bonamassa and Robert Plant coming from there, and Trapeze and Judas Priest, Black Sabbath are little around that area, and it's sort of the birthplace of hard rock, if you will.
What made it so, in particular, maybe, do you think?
I guess, simplistically, working class families, sort of guys that worked in the coal industry and the steel industry and the car industry, and, you know, a lot of factories, and good family values. All the people I've just mentioned all come from working class homes, and we've all sort of had the same values, but we always are very fiercely proud of country, they talk like this there, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of a homage to where we were from.
Were you from a industrial, where your parents, they worked in the factories or in the coal mine?
My mother was worked as a secretary, and my father worked at the National Coal Board. So it's definitely a, you know, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I'm very respectful of the area of England, although I live in California now, a million miles from this kind of thing. But our sound, being as we have 1 part Bonham and 1 part Hughes from the Black Country, it has a certain sound of Black Country. If you understand that there's a certain vibe there, mm-hmm. certain balls to it, so we're very sort of proud of that.
Could you still tell a band that comes from that area? Could you distinct that maybe?
Yeah, I can still hear it in Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and Zeppelin, of course. Mm-hmm. You can hear the roots of it. It's almost primal. It's great.
Have you recently visited the area? Is it changed a lot?
All the time. My mum and dad are there still, and I go back 5, 6, 7 times a year. I'll be there again next week. Like I say, I live in California, where it's the sun is shining and the beach is there, and, you know, how you doing today kind of attitude. Yeah. The Black Country is, for me, it's the home of football, with my football team, Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it's where my parents live and my oldest friends live. So I like to go back to feel that energy.
Do you think that for you, does the place where you're living in influence you a lot? Is it, for example, different to write rock and roll in California where it's sunny and the beaches, and instead of...
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a Californian, and I never thought I'd ever end up in California when I was 10 years old, but when I started listening to Crosby, Stills and Nash and Neil Young and Buffalo Springfield and Joni Mitchell in the late 60s, I was blown away by California music, and especially when I saw Monterey Pop, and I'd heard about places like the Los Angeles Forum and Bill Graham's Fillmore West. There's great venues that I always wanted to play, which I did play. And when I first went to America, the first place I visited was San Francisco. And I just got off the plane and I just smelt, well, this is my home. It actually was 400 miles down the road, which is in LA, but mm-hmm. California for me is my, let's just say my spiritual stomping grounds. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in we are supposed to be where we're supposed to be, and I'm really supposed to be a Californian, which I'm very proud to be.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, you met Joe there, I think, also, Joe Bonamassa. Can you recall when you first met him, what was your shared vision that you want to put out?
I met Joe in California at a place called the NAMM Show in Los Angeles 3 summers ago, sorry. Mm-hmm. 3 winters ago, actually. And I wasn't too familiar with Joe's work. I knew about him, and he was familiar with my stuff from the 70s. Joe, if people don't know, is the blues guy. Mm-hmm. On paper, it sounds like if you look, it says blues. But what Joe really is a rock guitar player that made his name in blues. if you ask Joey's influences, and you probably will one day, he might give you 10 guitar players, but I can think of 7 of those will be rock. They will be rock. B.B. King will be for sure a blues guy, and Eric will be the second blues guy, but Eric is also rock, and Jimmy Page is rock. But we started to hang out, have dinner together, and break bread, and we ended up in my studio, and we started to play a little, and we started to turn the amps up, and all of a sudden the Les Pauls came out, and the old Fenders, and I realized we were writing rock songs. We weren't writing traditional blues songs, so